What is up, ninjas? Welcome to Queenstown, New Zealand, and if you want to know why 99% of people will never make a single Shopify sale, and you want to know why a diamond earring and a dog collar have a lot more in common than you think, then don't even think about going anywhere. What is up, ninjas? Welcome to the video about why 99% of all Shopify'ers fail. And yes, Shopify'ers is a real word. I did not just make that up. So this is going to be talking about mistakes to avoid so you can join the 1% of people who actually make it through to a successful Shopify store. So number one, we are going to talk about the N word, the dreaded word that you've probably all heard a million times before, which is, of course, niche. I don't know what some of you are thinking. So the niche topic is one that is incredibly important for Shopify as a whole, for e-commerce as a whole. I think a lot of people go into Shopify or Amazon or any type of e-commerce thinking that, they can just list a fidget spinner or they can, sell a piece of cat jewelry that 1,000 other people are probably trying to sell or do the same thing from. So the niche word, we need to talk about niches, and we need to talk about, more importantly, sub-niches of those niches. So what's very important and what a lot of people forget is that you can't just go out and try to sell the same thing that 1,000 other people are selling. It was the exact same thing that happened with fidget spinners on Amazon. The people who caught it early and the people who identified the trend early made a ton of money. And the smart people of those first movers were the ones who were smart enough to know when to get out of that trend, as they saw hundreds and hundreds and thousands of other people actually joining in and starting to sell those same products. Because when there are products that are so profitable and so highly trending, and they just seem like such a low-hanging fruit, then there's all these type of people out there, especially when it's a low cost to enter, as fidget spinners cost almost nothing to produce. It created this excess of the surplus of supply, which of course, the demand was not able to keep up. So let's talk about what a sub niche is and what this actually means for us. All right, guys, so we're gonna look at 3 quick examples of exactly what I mean by this, because I think it's so important to look at examples rather than just talking about, high level stuff. So first thing that we're going to look at is a dog collar. So what is a dog collar? Obviously, you probably should know that. But a big mistake that I see a lot of people make is thinking, hey, a lot of people have dogs. A lot of people probably want a dog collar. So I'm just going to sell, any type of generic dog collar and, call it a day. And so one of the kind of little tricks that I like to use to hone down a little bit deeper is you never want to sell just a generic product. People are not going on Shopify stores. People are not clicking on Facebook ads for generic products. No one, I promise you, or most people are not buying toilet paper from a Facebook ad. So what I like to do is, instead of just typing dog collar, AliExpress, like a lot of big, search type sites, have what's called autofill. So I can go dog collar space and then just type the letter A. And now it's going to say dog collar and leash set, dog collar anti-bark, dog collar accessories, dog collar army, right? So an army dog collar is a lot more likely to actually, convert to a purchase on a Facebook ad if somebody is looking specifically for a dog collar army. And, using Facebook ads, it's very easy to target people who are, really interested in the military, army, navy, air force, any common, type of camouflage company, or maybe like a famous general or historical army figures or something like that, right? And so this video is not talking about Facebook advertising, but it's just very important to kind of start to realize that you never want to sell in any type of generic leash. So if we type in B, we see dog collar beeper, dog collar bandana, buckle, bling, right? And so these are a lot more interesting, like dog collar Christmas. And so I guarantee you that they have a lot of different Christmas designs like this, or, dog harness lift support, or, 4 different leashes here for $4.20 each. And then, if we wanted to go a step further, we could organize these by orders just to see kind of what's popular. The glow-in-the-dark dog harness, some LED stuffs. Here's some, little bow tie type jingly things. And I guarantee you, these are obviously seasonal as they're Christmas related, but I can guarantee you that this would sell infinitely better than if you're just trying to, sell a generic dog collar to people on Facebook ads. So let's take another example. We're going to do jewelry. Actually, let's do earrings. So the diamond earring was the other one that I mentioned in the intro. And so what we see here is there's a ton of orders here, but it's very difficult to actually target people using Facebook advertising. And it's so important, guys, to think about how you're going to target people before you create a store, before you actually create a brand, before you kind of submit the time and use your time to create, the Shopify store, if down the line you're actually unable to target people to buy those specific products. So instead of selling earrings like, the example that we just used, what we would do here is we'd type earrings space A. And so now we see some earrings, maybe animal earrings. So this would be much better. So people who also like animals, who like jewelry, maybe you're targeting people on Facebook who have an anniversary within 30 days. So people are trying to buy their wife maybe some animal earrings. And then you could also maybe type ladybugs. So maybe somebody who likes ladybugs, who has an anniversary within 30 days, who also likes animals and who likes, popular jewelry brands like Tiffany's or something like that. And then all of a sudden you have a much more, what I like to call sub-niched area to actually target people, and a much higher percentage that you're going to be able to convert that person into a sale, rather than just showing them a generic dog collar or a generic piece of jewelry that they would almost never actually buy from a Facebook ad. All right, guys, let's move into number 2. So I want to be really clear here. This one is going to be a little bit more high level, but Shopify, you guys, is a real business. I think there's a kind of a idea out there that a lot of people have been circulating with false rumors and all the other gurus out there with Shopify, that all you have to do to achieve overnight success with Shopify is add a product from AliExpress into your Shopify store, and then magically you're going to start making a ton of money overnight. That is not the case. Shopify, like every other e-commerce or online internet business, requires work. It requires testing, it requires iteration, it requires a lot of probably failure up front, right? You have to learn a lot of new things like email marketing. You have to learn how to add apps to your store. You have to learn how to calculate ROI. You have to learn how to create successful Facebook ads and Instagram ads or Snapchat ads or whatever you choose to kind of focus your time on from a marketing perspective. So I just wanted to kind of eliminate this rumor, and a lot of the reason that I would say 99% of the people out there are failing and they're not able to actually make a successful Shopify store is that they have this idea that within one day or even like 1 week they're going to go from having absolutely no knowledge about Shopify to creating a successful e-commerce business. The successful e-commerce businesses out there that are doing huge numbers every month are ones who've been around and they've actually been testing and they've figured out what works from a marketing perspective. They've tested probably hundreds or thousands of different products. They've iterated their store. They've seen what works. They've seen what doesn't. And they have the expectation that just like any business, it requires time and effort and a little bit of money, in Shopify's case, and with dropshipping, a lot less than most other businesses, but still some money up front to actually create something that works. And so I wanted to go really deeply into this and just say over and over and over again to people that you are not going to achieve an overnight success. You're not going to become an overnight dropshipping Shopify millionaire by adding, a few products from AliExpress into your Shopify site with the most basic Shopify site, right? So it takes time, it takes effort. You have to build an email list. You have to build rapport with your customers. You have to retarget your customers and make them repeat customers, because anyone who knows anything about business knows that it is infinitely easier and less expensive to get an existing customer to buy from you again than it is to get a new customer. So once you get people into your ecosystem, right, we're offering them coupons. We're offering them, end of the year sales. We're telling them about our new exciting, offers. Maybe if we have like a store related to corgis or dogs, right? We know that people who are buying from a corgi dog store probably have a corgi, probably love that corgi, probably think it's the cutest thing in the world. And so if you come out with, a brand new pair of fluffy corgi socks and they already bought, a fluffy corgi t-shirt from you, then you know that that person has a much higher likelihood of actually converting and becoming a repeat customer than would, a completely new person that's never heard of your store or brand or purchased from you in the past. And so, there's a steep learning curve to any internet business, but that's why, there's people like me who've created Shopify courses teaching you everything, or release, hopefully you like the content that I release for free on YouTube. But number 2, guys, is Shopify is a real business. You can't expect to make it work overnight or, within a week. It takes time to understand what's working and what doesn't, to test different products, to test different marketing campaigns, to split test your marketing campaigns. Maybe you'll realize that, 24 to 35-year-old men are converting, 90% higher than 18 to 21-year-old women. And so then you take the 18 to 21-year-old women out of your marketing campaigns and you only target the, demographics that are working. But it takes time and it takes money and it takes energy to realize what about your marketing campaign is working and scale that, and then realize what you're actually just wasting money on and pause those campaigns. And then once you really start to get, in the groove and you get one successful product that's starting to work, you're converting at higher profit than it's costing you to make those sales from a paid traffic perspective. And once you get those, and once you get a couple of those, and all of a sudden you have 10 of those, then it's really starting to work. But Number 2, guys, is that Shopify is a real business and you can't expect it to work overnight. Number 3 is what I like to call the one and done. So similar like to what we just talked about before in number 2, a lot of people are trying, less than 10 total products and 10 total ad sets and then giving up. And so one of the biggest things that differentiates any successful entrepreneur, it doesn't have to be on the internet, it doesn't have to be in e-commerce, it doesn't have to be in Shopify, is the willingness to succeed. So a lot of people are going to spend, $100, $200, $500 on ads, on getting their store set up, maybe on some new apps that they're using on their store, and then they're going to give up because they're not making it work. But what they don't realize is that with Shopify or with Amazon or with anything, really, all it takes is that one successful product or service or whatever you're selling to kind of give you the confidence to show you that it is possible, to show you that it does work, and then you can really start to scale after you've kind of realized what's working and what is not working. Another point that I wanted to mention in this exact same realm is that there's really a snowball effect with any type of e-commerce, especially when it's as scalable as dropshipping. One of the main drawbacks between other businesses is you stock out, right? You run out of inventory and then you can't fulfill your customers if you are getting on a roll and people are really starting to, take off and you're starting to get a lot of sales, or maybe you have a successful relationship with an influencer and, they get you all of a sudden 500 sales in a day and it wipes you out. But with dropshipping, one of the most beautiful parts about dropshipping is that you don't actually hold the inventory. And theoretically, if you partner with the correct supplier, which I teach exactly how in the Shopify Ninja Masterclass, what you're going to realize is that they pretty much have an infinite stock. If they're a large manufacturer, if they're worth the time and money and you've done your due diligence with finding them, what you're gonna realize is if you do start to take off and your product starts to trend, or you find the correct relationship with an influencer or a team of influencers, and all of a sudden you're getting thousands and thousands of orders, what you're gonna realize is they're not going to stock out. And so the moral of the story and the moral of number 3, guys, is that a lot of people give up right before kind of they find that breakthrough product, right before they kind of find that their breakthrough stride where they kind of start to get in motion and they start to realize, okay, this is actually going to work. But what I need to do is not give up, after spending $100 on ads and saying, what, it's just not working for me. Nobody can do it. It can't be done because I imported one product off AliExpress onto my store I set up in an afternoon, right? It's a real business. It takes time. Don't give up with trying just 10 products or even 50 products. Guys, I tried hundreds and hundreds of products on drop shipping before I kind of started to realize what was working, what was not working, how to identify trending sub niches. When I first started, I think like a lot of people, I was looking at these products that were that I saw a lot of other people selling successfully, but what I didn't realize is they had spent months or years building up email lists, building up social media followings on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest, where whenever they released a new product, they already had, hundreds or thousands of people already kind of in their ecosystem who had bought from them before, who were willing to buy from them again because they like the quality or whatever the case may be. So you don't see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for these, already successful companies out there who've probably spent months or years actually building up these relationships and building up these audiences. So the point and the moral of number 3, guys, is don't be a one and doneer. It takes time and it takes energy and it takes a lot of testing before you realize what is actually going to work. All right, guys, let's get into number 4, what I like to call the golden ratio. So the golden ratio is something that I kind of came up with just because I think people get bogged down and prioritize and spend time on the things that are not going to produce them the most results. So if we use the Pareto principle, right, the 80-20 principle, that 20% of our activities are going to produce 80% of our results, let's break down, kind of the main 3 ways that you're going to spend time on your Shopify store and your Shopify business. So 20% of your time should be creating the perfect store, right? Choosing the best theme, creating your store, optimizing your store for both desktop and mobile, making sure that you have the correct apps, that you're capturing people's emails correctly, that you're using apps like Spin a Wheel to, incentivize people to give you their emails in exchange for coupons, using apps like Receiptful or Conversio to make sure that you're actually getting people to click on the emails that you're sending them as receipts and maybe potentially offer offering them discounts. And we could make a video if you guys are interested on all of the best apps for Shopify that have given me the most conversions and that have made the biggest difference to my store. But for right now, we are just talking about the golden ratio. So 20% of your time, and I know that might seem like not that much to a lot of you guys, but creating your store can really bog people down and they can spend all of their time on that. And if you spend all of your time on creating the perfect store, then you'll never actually get your store out there and be able to find your customers, right? So I've created stores in as little as a day, and I've had a lot of experience with Shopify. I have a lot of experience with Facebook ads, and I have a lot of experience with selling things on the internet. But I can create a store and get it completely fully live and functionable, and all of the titles and descriptions and everything optimized with all of the apps I want, within one day. And so that should be really only 20% of your time. Don't let yourself get bogged down where you're spending weeks or months creating the perfect store without actually testing anything, because you're going to be really let down and you're probably going to feel pretty overwhelmed if you've put all of this time and effort and money into creating the perfect store and then no one's buying anything from you. So 30% of your time, right, out of 100% should be for product selection and iteration. So when you're selecting products, you want to make sure that you're putting a lot of thought into it, that you're selecting things that are on the upward trend on Google Trends, that you're selecting things that are in a sub niche like we talked about before. You don't want to be selling dog collars. You want to be selling, LED dog collars for Christmas, or you want to be selling, corgi pink dog collars for women or something like that, right? So we're not looking at general niches. We're not selling dog collars as a whole. We're selling sub-niched items that people are much more likely to actually purchase from a Facebook ad. As always, people do not purchase consumables, right? The everyday type thing. People are not buying, Colgate toothpaste or toilet paper off of a Facebook ad. And so 51%, and yes, I know this doesn't add up to 100%, so please, don't tell me that in the comments. I just wanted to kind of make a point here. So 51%, more than half of your time, for sure, should be spent on marketing. So for a lot of us, there's a pretty steep learning curve for learning Facebook ads. There's a pretty steep learning curve for learning about autoresponders like MailChimp, and learning how to build an email list and how to successfully market to that email list so that you're not annoying people, but you're offering value and you're actually generating downstream income from that email list. Because what a lot of people don't understand, what a lot of beginners that don't understand, is the people that are really becoming wealthy and making a lot of money off e-commerce are not making that money up front. A lot of times I go into the black. I'm actually losing money on the beginning of my store, kind of giving away a lot of products for free, getting people into my email list, testing all these different products, right? Spending a lot of money trying to scale ads quickly so that I can get the most data immediately. So I get all the information about what ads are working, what demographics are working, whether it's males or females, what cities and states, right? All this information about ads, I get it quickly, and then I scale the ones that are working quickly, and I pause the ones that are not working quickly. But in doing that, I'm wasting money up front, theoretically, quote unquote, wasting money. Similarly, up front, I'm giving away products for free. I'm offering products at, below my cost at times, just so I can build an email list so that I can actually, launch future products to that email list. And that is where I'm going to make the money. The people that are wealthy on the internet are the ones who give away things, not necessarily for free, but the ones who give away a lot of free information, who understand that the people who get wealthy online are the ones who make downstream incomes by building a following, building a customer base, building an email list, building a group of people that are interested in what you have to say or what you have to sell. And last but not least, number 5. And so prioritization has everything to do with entrepreneurship. It doesn't have to just be with Shopify or Amazon or whatever you're selling on from that specific example, but we are going to use that as our contextual kind of thing that we're going to walk through right here to highlight a few points. And so what I mean by prioritization, and the reason that a lot of people fail at Shopify because of this, is people will work on things that are not going to give them the most value. So instead of, finding the perfect product, or, fine-tuning a marketing campaign, or, adding new additional products and testing, people will spend, weeks and weeks creating, Facebook pages, Pinterest accounts, Tumblrs, Etsy, all of these different things that are not going to give them the same amount of kind of output as the required time input. And so instead of going out there and making, Reddit accounts for your awesome new store that you're so happy and passionate about, what you should be doing is a very succinct series of steps when you are going out to create a successful e-commerce business. And so that series of steps, and I think a lot of people get this backwards, is you don't make a store first. Making a store first is going to cost you a lot of time. It's going to cost you a lot of, most importantly, momentum, right? Because nobody wants to spend a month creating a perfect store and then driving a bunch of traffic and paying hundreds of dollars to get that traffic to your site and then not getting any sales from that. So instead of creating a store first, guys, number one, when you're going through your priorities is finding products. And so once you find a product that you're very happy on, you're checking the social cues, you're making sure that there's a lot of people purchasing this, you're seeing a lot of orders on AliExpress, right? You have looked on audience insights on Facebook, and you figured out that yes, people are in fact searching for this. You know about their demographics, you've checked Google Trends, and you're making sure that this particular product or sub niche is on the upward trend. You're making sure that there are detailed targeting metrics on Facebook ads or on Instagram or on Snapchat that you're actually able to target this group and this audience. Hopefully this audience that you're targeting is a very passionate audience, right? We're talking about bird watching, we're talking about sports, we're talking about golf. We're not talking about, consumable everyday items or, people or water bottles or something like that. And yes, there are some people who are passionate about water bottles, but we're not talking about that. And so what I'm trying to say here, guys, is instead of spending a month creating a store before you've ever tested a product, right? Get a reasonably basic store up. Get, the very bare essentials that I teach. Get an email pop-up, get some type of a cart abandonment in place, and then create a collection of highly related products. Maybe it's like a golf laser sight and a golf tee cleaner or whatever those little things are that you like fix the green with. And then you could do one collection of golf men's polos or something like that, right? So you want to make an ultra niched set of products in one collection and then run Facebook ads to it. And if you can't get sales with $50 to $100 of Facebook ads after you've done all of your kind of due diligence, you're setting all of your detailed targeting correctly, you've set up the basic optimization of your store, right? If you can't get sales driving clicks from paid advertising into that ultra niche, similar, right, related type collection where you have 5 different products and they're all very sub niched, they're all very much so related, all of their titles and descriptions are optimized. You have your coupon set up, you have your reviews on the products, all of kind of the basics that I teach in the Shopify Ninja Masterclass. Once you have all of those things kind of together in your collection and you've driven $100 of paid advertisements with the proper targeting, again, which I teach, but if you don't know anything about Facebook advertising, take a look at my YouTube channel. We have, the #1 fastest growing Facebook ads tutorial, over 200,000 views in 3 months, but who's counting, on my channel. So make sure you check that out. I promise you it will teach you a lot about Facebook ads, even if you're a complete beginner. So once you run, a sufficient amount of traffic up to $100, $200, and you're not getting any sales, then no amount of, further optimization of your Shopify store is going to change that. You need to move on to either a new type of advertisement, right? Different targeters. Maybe, you're using Instagram influencers instead of paid traffic on using Facebook, right? But once you've spent, up to $100 on that particular advertisement to that ultra related niche collection of different products, then it's not going to be your store optimization that's going to make a difference. You need to either choose a different product or you need to test new ad targeters, right? So the moral of the story here, guys, is prioritize what is going to make you more money. That's going to be testing new products, and that is going to be testing new types of advertising targeting, guys. Don't waste a month or 2 months building out, the most amazing Pinterest and Twitter account ever for, your new passion projects. Do the things and prioritize the things that are going to make you the most money. And that is what this is all about, guys. So if you enjoyed this, do me a favor and absolutely smash that subscribe button directly in its face and click the little notification bells so you can stay up to date on everything that Lifestyle Ninja. We talk about Shopify, we talk about Amazon, we talk about everything related to making money on the internet and most importantly, being free, guys. So we will see you on the next one.